We have an encouraging update for the New York Islanders as there are reports they are getting closer to re-signing one of their top restricted free agents. We're going to be talking about that on this episode of Islanders Digest and also projecting some other contracts that the Islanders can be giving to some of their other restricted free agents. But before we get into that, be sure to subscribe to the channel, be one of our first 100 subscribers. If you're an Islander fan and you want more Islanders content, this is the channel to subscribe to. With that, let's get right into the news. Stefan Rosner has tweeted that it sounds like the next deal for Islanders Maxim Sivakov could come in somewhere around $3 million annually. First of all, it is just very encouraging that the Islanders are already having conversations with Maxim Sivakov. This is a player who has played very well, a pretty young player who has a lot of potential. So it's good to know, especially when he's been a bit up and down the lineup, that he is already looking to extend with the Islanders. And they have a good relationship in that way, especially with Russian players. Sometimes it's a little bit concerning when they don't get the minutes they want. Granted, Sipakov has gotten a lot of time in the top six, but there have been times where he has played on the fourth line. There was a game recently where he was scratched. So it's good to know that the relationship is strong. And also, this $3 million figure looks incredible. For what this player brings to the team, $3 million for Maxim Sipakov would be a great deal for the New York Islanders, and if it's a bridge deal, it could be a really good contract for the players. I would probably guess that this would be a 2-year, $3 million contract, and I think that would be great for both parties. Sipakov is a great player. He has been really effective so far for the Islanders, but there have been some kinks. There have been a lot of penalty problems, even though I don't think the penalties are so bad. It's more the type of penalties that he is taking. For example, I understand if you have a couple hits here and there that are, you get called for, it happens. However, a lot of his penalties have been for things like stick infractions, like high sticks, stuff that's not really necessary, and at points where it really did not need to happen, especially like in the center of the ice, just a high stick here and there. Definitely needs to clean that out of his game. Patrick Waugh has talked about it. It has gotten better recently, but a $3 million contract for this player, especially with the physicality he brings to the lineup, if the Islanders can get this done, and it looks like it's trending towards that, it would be a great deal for both sides. Now, the Islanders have a lot of money going into next season. If we bring up their books, this season they are basically out of cap space. If the Islanders want to make any moves, they have to do some major financial gymnastics. I mean, right now they're basically surviving just because so many players are on the injured reserve. However, next year things do take a change for the better in terms of the Islanders' books. The Islanders next year will have a little under $30 million in cap space. That is the 9th most cap space in the entire league. Before you do get too excited, one of the major reasons for this is all the money the Islanders are currently spending. One of the main reasons why they're not going to have as much money next season is because a lot of the players they're spending on right now are no longer on the team next year. So while that's a lot of money, you also have to consider that's considering that Brock Nelson is not signed. Kyle Palmieri is not signed. And even if you're not bringing those players back, you definitely have to replace them. And also, they have a lot of restricted free agents. So they have to sign Maxim Sipakov, Simon Holmstrom. They have to re-sign Hudson Fasching, if they want to bring back, they probably won't bring back. He's an unrestricted free agent. They're definitely going to probably want to bring back Mark Gatcomb, especially if he continues playing like this. And then if we go to the defense, that the Islanders have several more players they're also going to have to re-sign. Noah Dobson, if the Islanders end up keeping him, there is going to be a major raise they're going to have to give Noah Dobson. Alexander Romanov is definitely in due for a raise. Scott Perunovich probably wouldn't accept a raise, but if they do keep him, you could probably expect another $1 million. So the Islanders do have a lot of money, but that is going to go pretty quickly. I'm going to talk a little more about Sipakov and why I think bringing him back for $3 million would be such a good deal for this team. If you look at his stats this year, 7 goals, 18 assists, 25 points, plus 9. Again, he's got the 33 penalty minutes, but there's a lot of good this player is doing. He's playing 15, 16 minutes a game. He can be playing more, to be honest. I think he's a player who has more potential, but he's going to have to earn those minutes. He has been making some mistakes on the ice, but it seems like, especially if he's talking about contracts with the Islanders, it seems like he is willing to put in the effort to learn. And if he wants a bridge deal, he really wants to prove that he can hit the next level in the NHL. And I definitely think he can do that. He's 25 years old. He has shown the potential. I know the stats aren't lighting up. For a rookie, he's a bit older, but a rookie is going to make some mistakes. There are going to be some growing pains. Honestly, the growing pains with Sipakov have not been that painful. The next restricted free agent I really want to talk about here is Alex Romanov. Alexander Romanov has been an incredible defenseman for the New York Islanders this season. Honestly, I don't think there'd be too many objections if I said he was their best defenseman this season. Let's take a little look at his stats for the New York Islanders this season. Defensive stats, sometimes they can be a little difficult to analyze. Unlike forwards, you really want to look beyond the points. Obviously, a forward can bring more than the points. For example, Sipakov, his physicality is so valuable to New York Islanders. But if we're going to talk about physicality, Alexander Romanov provides so much physicality for this defensive unit. On top of that, he's a positive player, and he's on pace to put up 30 points in a season. All that combined, this player is going to get a substantial chunk of that $30 million, which is why I said don't get too excited about that figure. I'm not going to really break down Noah Dobson and what contract he could get in the offseason in this video because, one, there are a lot of signs that the Islanders might trade Noah Dobson. They're currently actively shopping him. There haven't been too many updates since they started shopping him, but with that being considered, it's really hard to judge a Noah Dobson contract. Obviously, he's going to be getting more than $4 million. How much more? It's hard to tell. With Romanov, he's currently making $2 million. I think it's pretty clear that he's going to be making a lot more. I honestly can see him making around $5 million next season. That's how good he has been for this Islanders defense. I can see him getting a $5 million contract, put him just under Adam Pelech. He isn't quite that defensive player that Adam Pelech was when he signed that contract, but with the salary cap going up, I can honestly see 6 for Alex Romanov, and I wouldn't be too upset. He's been that good of a player, and honestly, at his age, at 25 years old, I think he honestly still has a step to take it a step further. He's been so good with his defensive play. He's been so on top of his checks, but I honestly think there's a little more offense to his game, and we've seen a peak of that. His offensive numbers have been getting a bit better as we look here. So I definitely can see, last season he had 22 points in 81 games. This season he already has 15 points in 41 games. So there is definitely that next level for Alex Romanov. The next player I want to talk about who definitely the Islanders need to extend, and honestly I can see getting a similar contract to Sipakov, is Holmstrom. Holmstrom has taken a huge step up for the Islanders this season. Last year, he really struggled. He had a couple goals on the penalty kill, but other than that, his play was almost invisible 5-on-5. This year, it's really not the case. As you can look at his stats, he has 30 points in 48 games, 14 goals, 16 assists. He has been so consistent, and for a big portion of the season, he has been playing third-line minutes. So third line minutes to still produce at that level, not playing with the top players on the team. Holmstrom has definitely earned a contract. I would be hesitant to give him too much money. After all, he did struggle last season. It's not uncommon for a player to step back. So he really needs to show me, at least for the rest of the season, that he can be consistent to earn too much money. But I can definitely see him earning probably a bit more than if Sipakov's looking for $3 million. I can probably see Holmstrom getting about $4 million from the New York Islanders, at least. Honestly, he can make a lot more, especially if he continues this season strong. For all these players, if they all have a good end to the season, they can definitely be looking at more money. It looks like Sipakov's probably going to sign that extension soon, especially considering we're already getting a number, $3 million coming out, but we will see. Let me know in the comments if you think $3 million is a fair price for Maxim Sipakov. How much money do you think Sipakov is worth? How much money do you think Alex Romanov and Simon Holmstrom are worth? Let me know in the comments. Again, thank you so much for watching this video. Let's go Islanders.